Hi, Aditi. Thank you for joining us today. Um, let's start with segment one. If you met me in an elevator, how would you introduce yourself and your journey to me before the doors open again?
Hi, Pratiksha. Thank you for inviting me to talk today. And my name is Aditi Vyas. I am a recent PhD graduate in biological sciences. And just a little bit of background about me. I started my undergraduate degree in India, like most of the people who are here talking, in physical therapy. And I shifted my careers a little bit and started getting my master's in exercise science and then continued doing in physiology. And I had always been very much motivated in like the health aspect of the biological sciences, because my inspiration came from my father, who is a medical doctor. He has been continuously working in ICU, saving lives, and that's when I started my career in physical therapy. Learned a lot about various health conditions, diseases, how we can solve uh, related issues with them. And my focus has always been like evidence based research and how clinicians choose a treatment, what is the rationale behind it. And that's when I started my master's to learn more about the clinical research aspect. Continued doing that by getting a PhD, and I am moving on now, like many of the other PhD graduates, and going into the larger world. And that's so far my interests and my aspirations of what I want to do.
That's
And
interesting.
it's great to meet you all, and thank you.
Yeah, that's a very motivating story. Uh, okay, so what do you think are some of the misconceptions or biases that exist when regarding academic versus industry research? And you can talk about whichever you feel more comfortable.
So there is a disparity in pay scale. That is a very, very big concern. A lot of students transferring from academia to industry have been facing, and there is no denying that that is the case. But um, I have been most of my life in academia, and I just recently transitioned into industry right now. And the most common concern what I faced from industry was the lack of experience. So we can negotiate salary, right? But we cannot negotiate experience. We need to have experience to display that I'm so and so with so and so many years of work experience. So even as a PhD student, I completed clinical trials, for example, but that was not considered as an experience. And industry would not take me as a very strong candidate because I had PhD and I did not have work experience in the industry. So, industry, how this works is they have a group of or set of people, they circulate around from one position to another position. As an entry level, for us without experience, it is really hard to crack into that position. So that and money disparity are two of the major things which I, as a recent PhD graduate, faced while transitioning into industry. So my suggestion is to take up a internship, which I did not do because I was completely immersed into doing my research.
Mhm.
So taking a internship is a very good way to fill that gap of lack of experience. And then once you have enough experience, you can always negotiate your salary.
That's right. That's a very important point I think you brought up. So, can you talk a bit about what motivated you to switch from academia to industry?
Yes. So academic research or just academic positions are very much like they cannot, I feel that they could not be transferable. So I have done blood pressure research, mindfulness research, exercise research. All these topics were very much applied topics which every individual uses in their daily life. But here I am, I was not able to transfer that into real life whatever results I was getting. So even though like I am in this academic field doing very much of an applied research, I cannot get that transferred into the real world situation. And that is a concern I had when I was uh, completing my graduation. So initially, I was so much into like, I want to do postdoc, I want to go ahead and become a professor. But then I realized that there is this lack, there's this miscommunication, there's this gap that, I have this research, but or whatever I'm doing in my academic career, I cannot get it transferred into the real world situation, which is industry. And industry has been so far focusing on more of applied stuff, that everyone wants to make money, but industry has been focusing on that, we want to get this vaccine out, COVID vaccine out, this medication out, this drug out, this medical device out, at least in my field. Or if we are in engineering, we want to get this product out, we want to get a Swiffer mop out, which is very ergonomically useful, so that more people would buy that, so that transition, that I was doing this research, but that's it, that's where it stopped in academia. I published paper and it didn't go beyond that, was my motivation to start looking for more options in industry, because I wanted to do more applied um, stuff, more have a more applied career,
Okay.
rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so that wraps up segment one, and we'll go to segment two now. One of the most common misconceptions, one of the most common concerns that I hear about academic research is, like you just briefly said, the pay. So, especially compared to industry research. So, in your experience, do you think that these are valid concerns? And which of the two do you think offers more career growth? Or are there other factors to offset this difference in pay scale which are in favor of academic research?
Um, so it all comes down to what you want to do, correct? So I have had lab members who are so much interested in going into academia, and they want to become professors, and they want to, um, do so and so research, and they would go ahead and complete a postdoctoral training for that. And postdoctoral training is very much famous for pay scale, that they have a limited pay scale for whatever they are paying. But then you become a PI, for example, and you get paid through the academic institute, but you also get paid through your grant money. So, it's not completely true that, you would have a disparity in pay. Here, you would make a lot of money as well. One of my professors made tons of money teaching and doing research, whatever grants they were getting. And then there is academia. If you don't have enough experience, or if they have to train you, they would not pay you enough for that. And it just depends what your life goal is, and it would depend on what place you are going to, and if they have something you want, they could offer to you at both the places. So pay disparity is a thing, but that could exist in academia and in industry at what stage of your career you are in. And early career stage, both would be a disadvantage, because you have this lack of experience and you need that experience. So both places would have lack of pay. But here is one thing you want to consider, is that like right now, we had as graduate students, we used to never get health insurance from our current university, but now we get health insurance. And we are a salaried employee, so we get like there's a set amount that these graduate students would get, that much pay, so and so in this particular fiscal year. And then you want to consider other benefits, such as if you're getting paid time off, or are you getting parental leave, because that is also one of the biggest concerns which a lot of students moving into academia or transitioning out of academia are facing. And these exist in both of the places, academic and industry, that you will have to negotiate how much benefits you get, retirement or health benefits or paid time off, parental leave. And those are the things you want to consider before deciding what is best for you.
For sure, for sure. Very important point, especially when you're not in India, I guess. Yeah,
Yes, so India, so the entire situation of academic and industry is entirely different if you're transitioning in India. I'm based in US,
yeah,
but when I was working in India, nobody spoke about health insurance, nobody spoke
yeah,
about PTOs, or nobody spoke about parental leaves. But these new terms are getting really popular in academic and in industry settings, and
mhm,
everyone wants to make sure they are getting the best out of their situation. So yes, so even though that I believe that this disparity between pay scale is going to remain, but these are some of the things you want to consider when you're taking a position in academia or in industry. And both of them can give you, benefits at each point. Like academic, more stability, more security, right? Like
right.
nobody, they are not going to randomly just take you or fire you or lay you off, right? So you want to consider all of those things
For sure.
before you decide. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure, for sure. Okay, so that concludes segment 2, and then I'll go into segment 3.
Mhm.
So, what advice would you give someone who wants to make the switch between academia and industry?
My advice is, if you're within like 6 months, 1 year of your graduation, decide what you want to do, set your goals. This is very, very important. As a PhD student, I was like, yeah, we'll see what happens when the time comes. And I understand why, as students, we always think that, but it is very important to set not only a short term goal, but also long term goals. Like, what do you see yourself doing 5 months from now? But also, what do you see yourself doing 5 years from now? Do you want to be doing research in a closed lab, with you being the leader and focusing on so and so things, managing a group of people? You want to do more applied stuff, or what are your particular goals? So if I were to say that no, this industry is something that it has to offer, or academia has something this has to offer, it all comes down to what you want to do. And both of them exist, and both of them are good in their own sense, and both of them are important, right? And we all are there, we all have been in academia and industry. So I did not realize that I wanted to be in industry until like 3 months before graduation. So, not a very good timeline. So, I would suggest setting a short term and long term goal, deciding what you want to do, and deciding what are your expectations from yourself. That I want a certain amount of pay, I want to do leadership activities, I want to manage a team, or I want to manage a group of students, collaborate with faculty. What are my life aspirations? And decide based on those things and choose.
Yeah, I think that's really, really great advice. Thanks, Aditi. Unfortunately, we're at the end of the time.